Hey guys, welcome back to Ask Snes. So here we are, episode 4. Yeah, this is going on, isn't it? I've finally got a video I can actually do every week and stick to. Fantastic. Yeah, really good stuff. As I always say, thank you for all the responses. You know, the last video went down really well. Great comments from everybody. So thanks guys. I really do appreciate all the comments I get, and absolutely awesome. So I'm glad that these videos are being received well at the moment. So this is excellent. So we got a load of questions this week, so this is going to be quite a long one, I think, to be honest with you. So we'll just see how it goes, so we'll get stuck straight in. First question is from Blobslime29, and he wants to know when I'm going to be buying Mario Kart 8. As soon as I can buy another Wii U. I know I've sort of been on the fence about getting a Wii U again, because the way Nintendo's been recently and the way that I just don't think their business strategy is particularly great. But yeah, after seeing Mario Kart 8 lately, and last weekend it was just, YouTube was just chock-a-block full of videos, and it does look fantastic. And just everywhere you go, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you look, there's Mario Kart 8 everywhere. It looks fantastic. Fagin RS in particular, his video when he had it on the projector screen, man, if that don't sell you on Mario Kart 8 and buying a Wii U, nothing will, because that just looks so good. Yeah, so I think in the future I will definitely get another Wii U. I'm bound to. I'm not going to say I won't, because I will. At the moment, no chance in hell. It's going to be a long time before I get one. But yeah, when I do get one, there'll be more games. So I'll get Mario Kart 8, Mario 3D World. I want to get that Sonic game as well. That look really good. But yeah, I'll definitely get Mario Kart 8 at some point. Next question. Let me have a look. Right, so our next question is from my good mate Stu, Skunkworks. You alright, Stu? So Stu's asked several questions, which is excellent. First question is, what game in your Super Nintendo collection is the mintiest condition, which is the worst condition? Probably the mintiest one. Well, in fact, I've got a couple. So like Jimmy Connor's Tennis, Jim Lee's Wildcats. In fact, the mintiest, if I'm honest, because they're mint because they were sealed and I unwrapped them. The absolute mintiest game I've got is Metal Morph, because it's still sealed. I haven't opened it yet. I just haven't got around to trying it out. I don't know why. I really need to do that. Worst condition. That's the top. I don't know really, to be quite honest with you. Probably Lost Vikings is the worst condition one I've got. Yeah, I would say that one. And then you've got all the others. Is sort of like, some of them are a little rough around the edges. Like when I first started collecting, I wasn't as anal as I am now, so they're not as mint. But yeah, I'd probably say that then. So the mintiest one will be Metal Morph because it's still sealed, and the roughest one is going to be Lost Vikings. Next question: if you could never drink tea again, okay, would you drink coffee, water, or other soft drinks? It would be actually what I'm drinking today, which is water. So yeah, water and soft drinks. Those are the most. I like Robinson's, like, you know, the old barley waters and the squashes. I do like them. Although they've probably got a lot of sugar and stuff in them, so they're probably not the best thing to drink. So pure water's always better, and you know, it's good for your skin. You know, it's good for your weight as well. You know, get your. I was reading the other day about it, because apparently it slows your digestion down, and that means you don't eat as much, which is better, and you know, you're not constantly feeling hungry. So that's a good thing. Yeah, and as I say, it's good for the skin, which is important. So water would probably be the best option. Next question: what's the best bargain you got for a Super Nintendo game, and which did you overpay for the most? Bloody hell, mate. Best bargain. That's going to be hard, actually. Is it? Just try not to knock me bloody water all over my floor. Let me see. Right, best bargain is going to probably be. I've had a few actually. Oh my god. Actually, if I think about it, because I've had a few that have come in quite cheap, but when I look at bargain, it's going to be like a game that's usually a fair bit of money, and I got really cheap, would be R-Type 3, because that's usually $100, so about 60 quid, and I'm pretty certain I got it for around about 50. It was 50 or $60. I'm pretty sure it was about 50, and that was just by pure luck finding the guy on American Amazon that had it for sale, and I managed to get him to sell it to me and do a deal. So yeah, that would be the best one I've ever got. That was brilliant. And the other part of the question was, which one to overpay for? I don't generally overpay. I mean, to me, if you're paying an extra £10 or £20 over what it's worth, or what it sells for, yeah, it's overpaying, but it's not really. To me, overpaying would be like paying an extra 50 or 100, and I refuse to do that. I'll never do that. Obviously, games go up in value, unfortunately, and they constantly rise. Like Dracula X has just gone mental, unnecessarily as well. But yeah, I try not to the best I can. I refuse to like pay stupidly priced. I'm not paying an extra £100. It's like, that's why I've not picked up Sunset Riders, because it's just, the price is silly at the moment. I'm not paying it. I mean, the way it's going, it seems to be steadying out at the higher price, so I probably will have to at some point. I really don't want to, but I mean, it's that or you don't get the game in it, so we'll see. Next question. Right, okay, did I have any pets when growing up, and do I have any plans to get any? I did have, I think, goldfish, just standard stuff really. I remember having a goldfish when I was a kid, and I think that's about it. We never had dogs, cats, like normal pets. Normal pets. Yeah, and as an adult now, it doesn't interest me because, as I say, growing up, we never had dogs and cats and that around us and other animals, so it's never really bothered me to have them around my house. I have thought about having a dog, but it's the responsibility of having a dog. It's a lot of responsibility, training the dog, taking care of the dog, walking the dog, cleaning up after it. I just can't be bothered. But it would be nice. Next one. Okay, did you ever play Resident Evil, the remake, on the GameCube, and what are your thoughts? I did. I didn't play a lot of it, but I did have a dabble with it. I actually thought it was pretty good. Especially graphically, I thought they did a really nice job of updating the game. It looked really good, but still keeping the core mechanics of the original PlayStation, so it still played the same, and it wasn't completely overhauled. Yeah, I thought that was really good actually. I like the fact that they did that, and that's probably like some of the first ones where they started doing that. The overhauled old games like they do now on PlayStation and Xbox, where they're constantly doing collections and HD upgrades and shit like that. So yeah, another Nintendo first. There you go. Someone will correct me now and go ape shit and go, oh, no, Nintendo didn't do it first, but whatever. Okay, can you pat your head and rub your tummy? No. That's impossible. I don't know how people do that. It just, brain doesn't work that way. It's one or the other. Can't do both. Right, okay, and then he's put a rhyme in there for me about combining my two loves of Star Fox and Girls Aloud. Thanks. I did read that the other day and I thought it was really funny actually, Stu. Christ knows how you come up with that, but you nutter. Well, thanks for the questions anyway, mate. Okay, next question from my main man Skins. Okay. Somewhat of an extension to the alien question. Okay, what are your thoughts on ghosts? Not Casper, but real visitation from a spirit of someone who's passed. Yeah, good question, mate. To be honest, I don't know. I'm open to it. I mean, like all of these things, I'm open to anything because I think no one really knows the truth. You can't really dismiss people and say no, ghosts don't exist, because there's always the possibility that when we die, there is something more to it. And if you believe TV shows like Ghost Whisperer, then when you die, you have to go into the light to transfer over to the next part of your life, to the next plane. And if you don't go into the light, you usually linger in, what do you call it? Is it purgatory? I think it's purgatory, isn't it, in the middle? And then you have to basically, it's because you've got unfinished business in the physical life, so you have to resolve that before you can move on and go into the light and live in the spiritual life. And therefore that would to me be a ghost, which makes perfect sense. I don't understand why that wouldn't be possible. I mean, anything's possible. We're here, we live on this planet, we're sentient, there's just so much unexplained stuff in the world. Why would it be impossible? That's why I find it quite funny when people are so adamant that there's no such thing as aliens, there's no such thing as ghosts. It's like, well, why not? Anything's possible. And especially when people believe in God as well. I find that hilarious. It's like, you believe in God, you believe in Jesus, and you believe in the Bible, but you're totally opposed to the fact that there might be people on another planet, or there might be ghosts. Yeah, well, that doesn't make any sense at all, but whatever. So yeah, I think, yeah, why not? I've never seen a ghost. I don't really want to see a ghost because it would scare the shit out of me, but yeah, I'm totally open to it. I think there's totally plausible possibility that we could have that situation, and it makes perfect sense to me that maybe you're in purgatory and you can't move on, You know, and once you resolve your issues, you go into the light, you start your new life, and you join your family, hopefully. That's the main thing. It'd be a bit shit if we die and nothing happens. That'd be the worst thing. Okay, he also says, oh yes, just asking my thoughts. So yes, that's how I feel about that. Yeah, who knows, could be, could not. But I'm definitely not going to ever say that it's not possible, because anything's possible in this world, I think. Right, okay, so Electric Adventures, Tony. Alright, Tony. And Tony S, let me have a look. Right, there are a fair few sci-fi movies coming out over the next few months and the rest of the year. Are there any in particular you're interested or excited about? One I was excited about was Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise. Saw that yesterday. Wow, that film is brilliant. It's really good. Not at all what I expected as well, because I saw the trailer and I thought the trailer looked good. And it looked like your typical sci-fi time travel movie. The film's nothing like that. The trailer does not do that film justice at all. It's really, really good. Good story. Tom Cruise is absolutely awesome. I mean, I love Tom Cruise. I've said it so many times now, but Tom Cruise is brilliant. One of my favourite actors, and he really sells the film. He's so good in this role, and some really good comedy as well, which is something you don't see in the trailers. They don't make a big deal about the comedy, which is a shame because it works really well. Excellent film. Other than that, I really want to see X-Men. I'm assuming X-Men class as sci-fi, wouldn't it? I would think so. I want to see Days of Future Past, which is out now. So I need to see that. I want to see Godzilla. Really want to see that. That looks brilliant. There's Guardians of the Galaxy coming up, which looks weird as hell. But I don't read comics, so I don't understand it. But it looks brilliant. I really want to see that. The big one I'm going to watch next month is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which I can't wait for. Rise of the Planet of the Apes, absolutely awesome. Love that film. And Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, the trailers, they just keep getting better. So yeah, hell yeah. Can't wait to watch that next month. So yeah, some really good films actually this year. So far it's been really good, and they just seem to be coming out with even more amazing films. Yeah, thanks Tony, good question. Alright, next one, let's have a look. Right, okay, so the weekly set of questions from Josh, Mario and Sonic 1986. Alright Josh. Right, okay, so question number 1. Do you think the Dark Knight trilogy is in any way overrated? Not the trilogy itself, no, but The Dark Knight is overrated. And that's not saying The Dark Knight is a bad film, because it's not. All 3 films to me are absolutely brilliant films. Really well made, you know, great story, excellent casting. Everything about the films is just bang on. You know, Nolan's direction is spot on, just everything. It's brilliant. But I do feel that people bang on about The Dark Knight way too much. And whether it be because of Heath Ledger dying, and everyone makes a big deal about how amazing his performance as the Joker was, which I actually don't think it was. I watched it recently, and yeah, it's a good performance. I don't think it's as good as everybody keeps saying it is, and you know, there are little elements of his performance that get on my nerves. But yeah, I think the film's really good. It's really well done. But to me, Batman Begins is far superior. Batman Begins is just brilliant. From beginning to end, it's just superb. And that, not just because it's an origin story either, it's just a really well made film, and I just enjoyed it a lot more than Dark Knight. I mean, for me it goes Dark Knight, Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises, and then the Dark Knight at the end. And I don't know why, but I keep seeing that people don't like Dark Knight Rises. Christ knows why. I think that film's fantastic, and I know a lot of people have an issue with Bane. I love Bane. I think Bane is absolutely hilarious and just absolute genius. Tom Hardy's fantastic. I love that voice. It just cracks me up. Absolutely brilliant film as well. I did see recently that I think it was on AMC Movie Talk, and they were saying that they thought that the Dark Knight Rises was a bit long. I don't think it was. I mean, it's a long film, but I didn't think it was to the point of getting on my nerves and I was getting bored. I loved the film. I thought it was brilliant from start to finish. But yeah, I definitely think Dark Knight is seriously overrated. And by overrated does not mean it's a crap film. It just means that I don't like it as much as a lot of people seem to like it. You know, I accept it's a brilliant film. I enjoy it as part of the trilogy. I just don't think it reaches that level that everyone keeps holding it up as. Alright, next question. Have you ever watched Joss Whedon's Firefly and Serenity? I've never seen Firefly. Although I've not watched it properly. I've seen probably 10 minutes or something of it. And Serenity, I did try and watch the film, but I couldn't get into it. And I think mainly because I didn't know the background with Firefly, so Serenity wasn't going to make a lot of sense to me. And while that's not always the case with films, because you can watch a film without knowing the background. I just couldn't get into it either. Not my kind of thing at all. Nathan Fillion, he's absolutely awesome in anything he does, but I just couldn't get into that at all. Next question. Have you played Eco or Shadow of Colossus? No. That's the short answer, Josh. No, I haven't. I know they're supposed to be amazing. They're not games that really appeal to me, to be quite honest with you. I'm pretty mainstream in my taste, but yeah. I mean, it's supposed to be amazing, so maybe one day I'll get them on the PS3 and try them on there, but for the moment, no, I haven't tried them. Alright, question number 4. What is your favourite platform game on PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2? PlayStation 2 is going to be difficult because I was an Xbox kid, but PlayStation 1 would... yeah, it's going to be Crash Bandicoot 3. Pretty standard answer, but you know, I thought Warped was just brilliant. It was the point where Crash Bandicoot just... They got that good at making the games that the third one was just the perfect game out of the 3 of them. And the first 2 are still brilliant, but the third one, I love the third one. I really like the graphical style of number 3, it looked beautiful. PS2, I don't, honestly mate, I ain't got a clue. I don't know any platformers on the PS2 offhand, because I only had it briefly after launch, and then I got the Xbox, so I really couldn't comment on that one. Next question is, if you could, would you modify your consoles in any way? Well, my NES is already modified, so yes, I would. The Super Nintendo, there ain't that much that you can do to it. I mean, you can put a component mod on there, you can put AV mods on there, but there's not really much point. I don't have a CRT that has component anyway. That's the only thing I would do. If I ever got a CRT with component, I would probably get the Super Nintendo modified, or buy one direct from eBay that's already modified, because that would be a nice upgrade. A little pointless, but it does look nice. Other than that, no, there's no point really, because I've got my RGB NES. PlayStation 1 doesn't need modifying, it's American, so I don't need region modding or anything like that. Not bothered about playing backups because the games are so cheap on it. Yeah, I've got a Japanese Mega Drive, so I wouldn't need to mod that either. Right, okay. So, and the last question from Josh is, are there any Marvel films that you have disliked? Just the 4 films. I don't think they're crap or anything, I just don't really like them that much. I find them quite boring. I watched 4-1, didn't really think much of that, I thought it was pretty average. And then I recently watched 4-2, which was slightly better than the original 4, but for me, when you compare it to like the Amazing Spider-Man, Captain America 1 and 2, the Avengers, they don't hold up at all. Even the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton, I love that film. I'm a big Norton fan anyway, but for me that was far superior to 4. I don't know if it's that I don't like the character of 4, but then he's really good in Avengers, and I love Loki, but I just can't, I don't know what it is about the films, I just can't get into them at all. I just find them quite boring, and I found number 2, there's a lot of like really crap humour in it, trying to make it funny when it didn't seem to work that well. And is it Natalie Portman that's in that one? I think it is. Don't really rate her that much. No, I didn't think much of her performance at all. But yeah, that's about the only one really that I can think of, because all the other films I've seen have been great. The biggest problem I have is remembering which ones are Marvel, which ones are DC, because I don't do comic books. There's the Green Lantern, which I believe is Marvel. I'm hoping that's right. Apparently that everybody hates that film. I actually really enjoyed it. But I think that helps when you don't read comic books. You don't bring that baggage to the film either. You just accept the film for what it is, and you either like it or you dislike it. Because I know from watching videos on YouTube, people who are really into their comic books get really uptight about the adaptations that the films are. I suppose it's like people who play video games, and you know, when The Last of Us comes out as a film, people are going to nitpick about that and say, oh well, that's not right and that's not right and all this. I don't care, because I see them as separate things. At the end of the day, you've still got your comic book, you've still got your game. The film, if it's completely different, so what? If you don't like it, don't matter, you've still got the original source material. If you do like it, bonus. You know, that's the way I'll say it anyway. Right, so thank you, Josh. Appreciate that, mate. Right, okay. Next question from Muzz247365. He said, is the slime movie I was talking about last week, was that Copland? It was, you're right, mate, that's the one. I just couldn't remember what that was. Right, okay, so the question is, are you going to get Mario Kart 8? As I say, yeah, when I eventually get a Wii U again, I'll get Mario Kart 8 for definite. Did you go to the arcades when you were a kid? Yeah, all the time. Arcades were the main thing as a kid. I mean, growing up in the 80s when you had a Commodore 64, the arcades were massive. I mean, Jesus, it's just like everybody, it was like we couldn't wait for the day when we could get arcade graphics in the house, and that was going to be the big thing. And I love the arcades, the whole atmosphere of the arcade, being with your friends and your family, and having people gather around the machine while you're doing a really good job playing a game, and you just can't beat that. It's just something about the atmosphere and the noise from all the different machines, and it's something I miss actually. It's a real shame that I don't have that anymore. We've got arcades where I live, but they're not proper arcades. They've just got a couple of machines and a lot of fruit machines and cash machines. It's not like an arcade when I was growing up, but yeah, loved them as a kid. Okay, and what are you having for dinner tonight? I haven't got a clue, to be honest with you. I haven't even thought that far ahead. Just whatever I can find in the cupboard, really, mate. I just throw it together and that'll do. Alright, okay. So, right, we got a question there? Right, yeah. So, Lee, Arcadiality. Hello, Lee. So, he's actually saying there, what I was talking about last week, was about that martial arts, I was talking about the female Expendables. And I couldn't remember the name of that woman. And apparently it's Cynthia Rothrock, which it is. I remember her now. Didn't she have like bobbed blonde hair or something? A vague recollection. And he's also asking, did I see the in-store demos comparing DVD to Blu-ray? And he's saying that it made him laugh because the DVD quality was overhazed and blurry. I actually didn't at the time, mate, to be quite honest with you. It was mostly through magazines at the time, that when Blu-ray was coming out and all that. I used to read Home Cinema Choice quite a lot. I used to get that every month. And so I used to follow all the HD stuff, and yeah, I got totally sucked into all that. And so I jumped on the HD DVD bandwagon because it was the best. But yeah, I never saw anything in stores, unfortunately. I'm trying to think where I lived at the time. There weren't really any like big stores around me that I could go to and have a look at demonstrations. They were all like quite a distance away. I didn't drive back then, so I would have had to get several buses, and I couldn't be arsed with that. Right, next question is from Gashead Steve. You changed your name again, Steve. Right, okay. When will we see the return of Cooking with Pete? Well, I've only done the one sandwich video. I don't know, mate. I'm not a big cook, so probably not going to happen. But yeah, we'll see. You never know. I might surprise you one day and post a random video again. Alright, next set of questions are from PS1 fan. Okay, PS1 fan. Oh. PS1 fan asks, whatever happened to your copy of Zelda on the Super Nintendo? I sold it to a guy in Brazil a long time ago. Basically, I needed some money. I wasn't going to play it, and I thought, screw it, I'll sell it. I regret that now because it's got up in value big time, and I only paid £9 for my copy, so yeah, I seriously regret selling it now. But yeah, and I could have got back to playing it and trying to work out how to understand the Zelda games, but yeah, I can always pick it up in the future. It's just going to cost me a lot more money, unfortunately. Next question, thoughts on Nintendo supporting the GameCube controllers on the Wii U? Now, it's an interesting question, mate, because I don't know what the situation at the moment is. From what I've seen so far, it's all about Smash Brothers, which seems a bit odd to me. It's like, why would you not just allow GameCube support on every game? Because that would be perfect for me. Because I'm not... The gamepad, brilliant when I first got it, but I found if you use it for 6 hours or something playing a game, my hand got serious cramp, and I was like, it's just not practical at all. The Pro Controller was a good controller, it was solid, but it was a bit generic, and it worked really well, great, fine. But on both controllers, I just hate the fact that the buttons are below the sticks. I just can't get used to that at all. And I'm pretty good at adapting to different controllers. I use multiple controls for different consoles. Doesn't bother me, but having them buttons down there, it's just a pain in the arse to stretch your thumb all the way down to B and A. So yeah, the GameCube controller is a brilliant idea, and I hope to God they confirm that we can use it for any game you like, because that would be excellent. The main important thing is Wavebird. For some God knows what reason, they won't confirm at the moment whether the Wavebird is going to be compatible. And it makes perfect sense that it would be. I don't see why you couldn't, because all you've got to do is stick the Wavebird dongle in the GameCube adapter and then use your Wavebird. So yeah, there's no reason why you shouldn't. Unless they're just hoping that they can announce it at E3 and it'll be a big deal. I don't think it would be, but they should do that. Because if you can use a Wavebird, brilliant. The only problem is Wavebirds tend to be a few quid on eBay, and they will go through the bloody roof if you can use Wavebird on a GameCube adapter on a Wii U. It would be nice if they just created a bloody wireless controller that was practical. That would be easier. But no, it's good that they're doing it, because I think at the end of the day, at least it shows they're actually listening, they're making an effort. Let's hope they continue to do that. I don't know if they will, probably not. They'll probably just continue making stupid decisions, but I'm gonna give them credit where credit's due, and I think it's a good decision. So yeah, I like it, and I actually like the design of the adapter as well. It looks really nice the way they've done that. I mean, there's nothing spectacular about it, but it looks slick. So good on you, Nintendo, for that one. Favourite game on the Wii, or games? I haven't played a shitload of games on the Wii, so my favourite game is GoldenEye. I absolutely love that. The way they reimagined the original game, I thought they did a fantastic job. Works really well with the nunchuck and Wiimote as well. Fantastic controls, graphics are gorgeous. I really like the fact that they expanded the levels, and it's just really, really good game. Other games like Sin and Punishment's really good. The Batman and Robin game, which I've forgotten the bloody name of, it's up there. Excellent game. Mario Galaxy I loved. I've got Mario Galaxy 2, I need to play that. I really need to play that. So I've got to set my way up for that one. What else have I got? I haven't got too many games, unfortunately. Oh yeah, of course, The Conduit. I want to mind about The Conduit was my favourite game on the Wii. Never mind GoldenEye. The Conduit was fantastic. The Conduit 2 is a piece of shit, and I wouldn't recommend anyone ever playing that. It's terrible. But The Conduit, awesome game. So thank you very much for the questions, mate. So, and then Minx36 Craig also asks if I was thinking about Cynthia Rothrock. Yeah, I was. Cheers, Craig. Okay. Right, Charlene Skunks88. Mr. Netbreaker, how you doing, mate? I know off you for a while, so got a couple of questions for him. From him, even. Duh. First question is, will your collecting ever come to an end? Will there be a day that you have everything you wanted? I would hope so. That's the goal, really. I would like to get to a point where I've collected everything I wanted. I can just stop and then just make YouTube videos like gameplays, discussions, all kinds of stuff, the Q&As, and just not have to just keep buying shit, because it does get you in a hole eventually. Yeah, that would be nice if I could do that. Obviously, like most collectors, it's difficult because you've always got that collecting bug and that thing in your head. And once you stop collecting, there's always that fear that you're going to start looking for something else to collect. So, I can start looking at action figures and start getting into that, or magazines, or I don't know, laser discs or something else. So you have to be really careful that you can control it and try and stop yourself, which is the hardest thing to do when you've got that collecting gene. Yeah, it's not good. But yeah, eventually, in terms of the gaming, I would like to finish the SNES collection off, get a good, reasonable amount of NES games, do my Japanese Mega Drive, because I think I said last time there's only about 50 games, so that's quite straightforward, and get a substantial PS1 collection. I'll be happy then. I don't want to go crazy because I've only got a small room, so I don't want to make it so I can't move around. But yeah, hopefully there is an end to it. So fingers crossed on that one. Question number 2, right, is what game would you like to be the final game that completes your collection? That's a great question, mate. The problem with collecting, especially Super Nintendo collecting, which you'll know yourself because you collect them, you can't really say, I would like, say, Final Fight 3 or Oh, hang on, phone's ringing. Hey guys, sorry about that. Bloody international cold calling again. Pain in the arse. Anyway, right, yeah, so where was I? So yeah, I mean, as I say, as a Super Nintendo collector, trying to select that one game like Castlevania, Dracula X or Final Fight 3 as the game to complete the collection would be really nice, idealistically. It's like a sweet way to end your collection. The problem with that is that those games are getting so bloody expensive that if I was to wait until I've got all the other games that I want, you're talking like 2 years down the line or something at this point, and that game is going to be so expensive and I just probably wouldn't be able to afford it, or it'd take me like another year to save up for it. But then it is a kind of nice thing, it's a nice way to finish the collection, so I can see your point there. I mean, you could always put like, I don't know, to finish the collection with something amazing like Undercover Cops or what was that game? Like Metal Warriors or even Wild Guns. Wild Guns would be a great one to finish the collection with, but I think there's pretty much no chance in hell of me ever getting a copy of Wild Guns because that is so expensive, and it really doesn't come up very often in boxed at all, which is a shame because it's an absolutely brilliant game. Ooh. That is a pain in the arse. Okay, right, next question from Charlene Skunks is, what game made you rage the most? That is, I don't even know where to begin with that one. There's so many. Recent times, it was infamous Second Son. Man, that game pissed me off. I had to sell that because I got so angry with it. It's just ridiculous. It was just like the first Infamous, where I just got so stressed out trying to play it. Retro recently was Batman on the NES. My God, that game's tough. Jesus Christ. You know, you get a couple of stages in and it kicks your ass. You know, and it's just absolutely brutal. Brilliant game, but it does not hold back at all. I think a lot of NES stuff actually it's quite tough. I'm better at NES games than I thought I'd be. I thought I was going to get my arse handed to me, but yeah, a lot of the time it depends as well. I think it depends on the mood I'm in, because I can play some games like Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Some days I'll come on, put it on, and I'll be absolutely beasting it, and I'll just kick the shit out of everybody. Won't use a credit or anything. I'll be awesome at it. Other days I'll come in and I'll just lose my shit because I just can't win. No matter, for some reason, I'll just lose all my ability to play the game, and like Ryu will just beat the hell out of me, and I'll just be getting so annoyed with it, and I'll just get a lot like and dash the control on, but like, that's it, I've had enough. So yeah, but so I do think it's mood is a big deal. You have to be in the right positive mood and relaxed, because otherwise you're just going to lose your shit. So thanks for the questions, mate. Alright, okay. Right, okay, so we've got some questions from Craig's. Craig is here again. Oh, jeez, I'll get your name right eventually, Craig. Sorry, mate. Craig's here again. Right, okay. So Craig asks, first question is, as a Nintendo nut, are you considering rebuying a Wii U with Mario Kart? Everybody wants to know if I'm going to buy a Wii U by the look of it. Yeah, eventually, mate, I will do. I was hoping that at E3 next week, Nintendo are going to announce a new console, and then the Wii U will plummet in price and I can get one dirt cheap. Never going to happen, but it would be cool. I know there's all the rumours going around about a new system, but yeah, Nintendo said they're not doing hardware next week. They could be lying to surprise everybody, but it's Nintendo, so I doubt they are. So it's probably going to be next year or something. But yeah, eventually, I want to get another Wii U, I suppose. It's the control method really puts me off quite a lot, actually, if I'm absolutely brutally honest. And so if that GameCube adapter is going to be used for every single game, and you can use a Wavebird, that would be a big plus, and that would definitely make me want to buy another Wii U. Because Mario Kart, it just looks so good. It really does. And Mario 3D World, I really want to play that. It just looks like a great game. Question number 2 from Craig. How long will you be keeping your Japanese Mega Drive for? Honestly, do you think it will be here to stay? Yeah, I'm hoping it will, mate. That's the idea. I want to keep it. It all depends, you know. I can never guarantee anything because, you know, finances being what they are. If it gets to the point I have to sell it, I have to sell it. There's nothing I can do about that. But I wouldn't choose to sell it. It would just be a case of having to. You know, I definitely don't want to, because I really like the system a lot. And actually, the Japanese one's my favourite one from experience over the years. So yeah, at the moment, yeah, it's staying in the collection, but no guarantees for the future because I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the future holds. You know, it could all go tits up for all I know. But question number 3 is, are you serious about one day owning the Pit Fighter arcade cabinet? What's this? Don't worry, I'm not judging you on the game, but I do know someone who possibly let one go. Oh, okay, right. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Oh, God, yeah. I mean, there's no chance in hell at the moment. I just haven't got that kind of cash spare, but when I'm in a better position and I've got the finances, I would absolutely love a Pit Fighter cab. That would be awesome. I'm probably the only person on the planet that wants to own that cabinet, but that would be so cool. I don't even know. If you know the measurements, let me know, because I don't know how big they are. It all comes down to space more than anything, where I could store it. Because I couldn't have it up here because of the weight. It'd have to be downstairs. But yeah, that would be seriously cool. It's a pure nostalgic thing, and that game is just brilliant. So yeah. Right, okay. Next set of questions are from J7, as he's now called. Right, Jay. Right, okay. Question number 1. Top 3 rock albums of all time. All time. Bloody hell. Hey. Oh my God. I'll be honest with you, Jay, I don't know much about the old school stuff. So when I got into rock music, it was like the end of 1990s, like 99, 2000. So I can only really go from there. So you're going to have like a lot of new metal, like all the rap rock stuff, and yeah. So if I'm going from there, my favourite top 3 albums, bloody hell. Trying to put them in order is the hardest part. I mean, Kill Switch Engage, Alive or Just Breathing, definitely. Love that album to bits. That is just an absolute masterpiece. Metallica, Death Magnetic. I absolutely adore that album. I was listening to that the other day, and it's just fantastic. You know, I mean, anything Metallica, you can't really go wrong. Just trying to run through the albums I've got downstairs. Oh my god. Yeah, I was thinking about Mudvayne actually, LD50, that's a really good album. I don't know if I'd put that in my top 3 then. Obviously the original Slipknot album as well. The original Slipknot album is fantastic. Then the original Trivium album was really good as well. It's really hard actually when I think about it, what you put in as your top 3. Oh my god. Yeah, that is bloody difficult. There's also a band called Mantis as well. They had a really good album years ago. I really enjoyed that. That was excellent. And Bullet for My Valentine, their first album was really good. Got a bit fed up with them after a while, but that first album was excellent. Yeah, I'd actually go with Mudvayne LD50 as my 3rd one. Yeah, I'll put LD50 number 3, Death Magnetic at number 2, and then Alive or Just Breathing at number 1. Yeah, I'll go with that. So, number 2, explain why you don't like Star Wars films, as Empire Strikes Back has been named the greatest film ever by Empire magazine. Oh, okay. Alright, I can't get on with them at all. I just find them extremely childish. I find the aliens absolutely ridiculous. And I know like the original one came out in 77, and that's probably why they look a bit iffy. But I can't get on with it. I love sci-fi, I love fantasy, and you know, really Star Wars should really speak to me. It should be my kind of film. But I just find it absolutely ridiculous. I find the dialogue ridiculous. I find the acting's a bit iffy. I want to get slaughtered for this now. The aliens, as I say, are just absolutely stupid. I don't like the aliens in it at all. Whereas with Star Trek, it was a more serious take on this situation, and you got the Federation, you got believable aliens to a degree. Tribbles aren't believable, but you know, and they try to like, you know, advanced technology, and they had tablets and mobile phones and everything, you know, communicators and all that kind of thing back then. You know, they had video screens, for Christ's sake. I mean, everything just seemed more logical, to coin a phrase, but yeah. I don't know. I just prefer Star Trek. I just cannot get along with Star Wars. Maybe one day I need to just sit down, watch all 3 of them again, and see if I can get into it. But I find it really difficult. I mean, I tried like watching Phantom Menace. Jeez, that was a mess. That was a terrible film. Didn't even bother watching the next 2 because god awful. But I'm definitely going to give Star Wars 7 a try because it is J.J. Abrams, and I have a lot of faith in the man. So this could be the film that turns me around. I'm pretty much certain it's going to be a brilliant film. But yeah, I really cannot stand the first 3 films. And the prequels are bloody awful. Number 3, if you weren't a gamer, what would you do with yourself? Travel, probably. Yeah, that would be the main thing. Get off my arse and travel around the world. Because, you know, I'm not getting any younger, so that's something I need to do. Yeah, because this can take over your life quite easily. It has done. Yeah, not good at all. But yeah, I think that's what I'd do actually. I would just get a load of money together and then just have a wander around Europe and go and visit America and Canada and Australia and, you know, Japan, all the cool places that I want to see. There aren't too many places you can visit these days that are actually safe. But the main places are going to be like, you know, France, Germany, Italy, America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Japan. I'm trying to think, is there anywhere else? No, that's probably about it really. But I mean, that'd be enough. America alone, America's a bloody humongous place, and there's so many places I want to visit in America, so that would be really cool. Yeah, so yeah, that's probably what I do. I just go travelling and just enjoy myself, which I should have done like 10 years ago, really. But there you go. Next question is, what odds would you put on yourself? Christ's sake, Jay. Everybody's asking this bloody question. What odds would you put on yourself rebuying a Wii U now that Mario Kart 8 is out? I'd say 2 to 1. You're probably not wrong there, to be honest, mate. I don't really understand how odds work. So whatever the most likely is, I'd go with that one. I'm not a gambling man, so I haven't got a clue, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'd say watch this space. In the next 12 months, you might see me holding a Wii U with a copy of Mario Kart 8. If not, like Monkey Spaz did and get the Mario Kart 8 bundle, because that is really cool. Nintendo are bastards for that with their bundles, because they always put really nice artwork on the boxes, and so tempting. But yeah, we'll wait and see. I think there's a good chance I probably will eventually. Okay, what are your thoughts on the Batman and Superman movie? Great question, mate. I'm really interested, actually, because obviously not being a comic book guy, that's going to be like my tagline, not being a comic book guy. Yeah, I'm interested because apparently, from what I understand, people who read comics have always wanted to see this happen. And so it's a big deal. And I love Batman and I love Superman. It's like a Harry Hill moment, isn't it? Fight! But yeah, it just makes perfect sense, really. I think it's going to be a really good film. I love the logo. The logo's fantastic. I actually really like the title as well. I wasn't sure about the title at first, but when I heard people explaining their visions of why it was called what it's called, it made a lot of sense to me. Obviously, they've got the Justice League film coming up, so it leads into the Justice League film, which is good. Apparently, a lot of people are banging on about the fact that Superman's name's not first because it's a Man of Steel sequel, which actually isn't a sequel, because no one's actually said it's a sequel. It's just a Batman-Superman film, so there could still be a Man of Steel 2 coming. And when I watched the AMC Movie Talk, they were saying on there that the reason they reckon they've used Batman v Superman instead of Batman versus Superman is in the legal context. Apparently, when you take someone to court, you have the person who's bringing the case forward first, v the person that they're prosecuting. So if I've got a problem with you, Jay, it'd be like Pete v Jay. So basically, Batman's bringing it to Superman, and he's going to take him on. And as far as I understand it all, it's going to be Batman coming out of retirement when he's older, which is really interesting. And I actually like the idea of Ben Affleck as well. I think he's going to do a really good Bruce Wayne. I'm interested to see how his Batman fares. And the photo that came out with his suit looked really cool. I want to see it in colour, see what it looks like. But the Batmobile looks awesome. He looks badass in that suit. Yeah, I'm really excited. As I say, I don't know anything about the history of the comic book, so it's completely fresh to me. I go in with fresh eyes and see what I think. But Batman versus Superman sounds like a really good Batman v Superman. Sorry, sounds like a really good idea. I'm interested more how they're going to do it. How is Batman going to fight Superman? Is he going to have weapons made with kryptonite? And I don't understand how it's actually going to work, because Superman effectively could just fly at him, grab him, and kick him into space. So I don't know, there must be a really good way of doing it. But yeah, I'm excited anyway. That's the main thing. I'm excited to see the film. I'm definitely going to watch that at the cinema. Alright, next one. Have you seen Godzilla and X-Men Days of Future Past? Unfortunately not, mate. I didn't have anybody to take with me to go and see it, and I'm not going to cinema on my own. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going to cinema on your own. I really should, but I always feel a bit weird doing that, a bit awkward. But yeah, I really want to see Godzilla. I really want to see Days of Future Past. I'll get them on Blu-ray anyway. As soon as they come out, I'll pick them up and watch them, because they've been getting good reviews, and apparently Days of Future Past is supposed to be the best X-Men so far. I did recently buy well, not the trilogy, it was a box set, and it was the trilogy, well, quadrilogy actually, thinking about it, because it had X-Men First Class in there. And they also put in, it's the Ultimate Collection, I think it's called. You also get X-Men Origins Wolverine, which I didn't understand the point of that, because that's a separate film. The Wolverine films aren't part of the X-Men films. You know, you've got X-Men, X2, that god-awful Last Stand, and then you've got First Class, and then you've got Days of Future Past. The Origin films are separate. Yeah, I've got to be honest, Last Stand was shit. I remember when I first watched it, I didn't like it. But my God, that film's bad. Vinnie Jones, Jesus Christ. The dialogue that he's given, and his acting ain't that brilliant anyway, but oh my God, it was an insulting film actually. I thought if you're an X-Men fan, like a comic book X-Men fan, you must have been so offended by Last Stand, because that film was atrocious, man. They really were taking the piss out of the fans with that one. Yeah, I didn't like it at all. It's a shame, because X1 and 2 were brilliant, really good film. And First Class, superb film. Absolutely love that one. So I'm very excited to watch Days of Future Past, and yeah, once they're out on Blu-ray, I'll be jumping on those two. So cheers for the questions, Jay. He's actually signed it J7 as well, I just noticed that. Brilliant. Right, next question, let's have a look. Right, okay, Adam, Shock16's got some questions for me. Right. Okay, question number 1, are you an only child? Yeah. Straightforward question, yes I am. Number 2, if you could build your own arcade, money no issue, what would be the first cabs that you put in there? Easy, mate. Final Fight, Pit Fighter, Operation Wolf. Can't go wrong with those three. 3 completely different games, but 3 fantastic experiences that I'd never really get bored of. I'd like to try and complete Operation Wolf on the arcade and all, because that'd be bloody hard, because I was always crap at it. I could get through to the end of stage 2, and then when the guy takes that woman hostage, I could never shoot him. It's so difficult. Final Fight I did complete, and Pit Fighter I completed as well. Pit Fighter, I just love that game. You know, Final Fight and Pit Fighter were such easy games to just replay over and over again as well. So yeah, I'll definitely pick those 3. So cheers, Adam. Okay. He's also mentioned about Symphony of Rock as well. The film was China O'Brien. You're absolutely right, that's the one. Nice one, mate. Right, okay, next question. Let me have a look. Right, so we have some questions from my good mate Alex, BlueTonic78. Bit worried about the first question, because I've just read the first 2 words of the sentence, and I'm not too sure where he's going with this, but oh well. Right, okay. Question number 1 from Alex. I know he's going to push it to try and test me here. Tony Blair. Oh God. Yeah. Do you love him, loathe him, or are you indifferent? Probably indifferent. I don't love him, don't loathe him, so yeah. Tony Blair, for me, basically, in 1997, for a bit of background, when he came to power with New Labour, I was a lot younger. I was 20 at that point. And I voted for Tony Blair's New Labour because the country was in a bit of a state. And from what I can remember, I was pretty much swept in the whole New Labour thing, and Tony Blair was, you know, the white knight, and I was like, yeah, this is it. We're going to change the country. We're going to do the better thing, like Obama, basically. You know, I got swept up in that, and it's exactly the same sort of thing. It was like change for '97, really. It was, you know, this is the future. We're going to, you know, make this country a better place. Yeah, okay. So I did get swept up in it, and my girlfriend at the time, her granddad, actually sat down with me. We were having a chat the one night, and he said to me, "Don't believe the hype. Don't believe what Tony Blair's saying. It's all bullshit. Don't vote for him. You're going to regret it." And you know what? He was absolutely right. I think Tony Blair, the man and the politician, is brilliant. He's a fantastic leader. I don't care what anyone says. He's a really good, solid leader. Someone you can get behind. And I'll give the man credit, because he, you know, if he believes in something, he'll stick with it. You know, I truly believe that he believed Iraq was the right decision, and you know, he had full belief in that. Went forward with his beliefs, you know, and you know, you can't fault him for that. You know, he did what he thought was right for the country at the time. You know, we all know that Iraq was a complete cock up, and it should never have happened. But I give the man credit, because you know, he stuck to his guns, and you know, he said, "This is what I believe we need to do." You know, and he went through the right channels. He went through Europe. You know, he went to try and get all the resolutions to try and get it sorted, and then the rest was history. But yeah. Also, Alex says, do you think his reputation is forever tarnished, or will people come to see him in a different and more positive light decades from now? Really good question. I don't know. He could end up like Thatcher, where you get people who absolutely hate him for, yeah. I get annoyed with Thatcher, because you get people who are like 15 to 20 having a go at Thatcher, and I'm like, you weren't even alive, so shut up. You've got no right to have a go about Thatcher, because people who were there at the time, they've got a right to have a go about Thatcher. But I think with Tony Blair, it's going to be the same situation. I think it's hard, man, because he started off so well. I think when he got into bed with George Bush, and obviously we do have a really good good relationship with America, which is something we absolutely have to have. when he got into bed with George Bush, he got too close to George Bush, and he forgot that he's the Prime Minister of England, and that was where he went wrong, I think. Or sorry, the United Kingdom. Yeah, I think that's exactly where he went wrong, because he got too close and he wasn't objective enough. And because he was a very moral person, I've always felt that he's a very, I believe he's a Christian, and he's very moral in his judgment. And George Bush is pretty much the same as well. He was like, you know, this is what needs to be done. And Tony Blair was right there beside him. And as we have that relationship with America, you have to back your friends up. And we have to do that. I mean, there's no, you know, no two ways about it. They would back us up, we back them up. But I still think he got too close, and he wasn't objective enough as he should have been. And especially with Iraq as well. He really should have thought more about Iraq and stepped back a bit. But then there was a lot going on, so it was a difficult situation, I think. You know, as I say, I do believe he thought it was the right decision at that time. So I don't know really, Alex. I honestly don't know what's going to happen in the future. I would find it hard myself to look back at him in a positive light in any way. You know, history. You know, history changed everything. In the future, maybe he will be seen differently, and you know, when all the facts have come out and all the truths out there, maybe people will look at him differently, and you know, not feel so negative towards him and his government. I don't know. It's a hard one to say. Right, guys, I'm just going to change the battery. It won't be a second. Okay, guys, right, I'm back again. All right, next question from Alex is: are you a night owl? Do you tend to go to bed really late, or do you usually go to bed at a normal time? It depends. Lately, yeah, I've been getting up, like going to bed at like 1, 2 in the morning. It depends what I'm doing really. If I'm busy, like watching a load of YouTube stuff or editing videos, or I'm just, you know, chatting on Twitter and stuff, then yeah, I tend to be late. I don't like to go to bed too early really if I can. I mean, normally when I'm in a routine, it would be go to bed about 11, half 11, sometimes midnight. I try not to do midnight because obviously if I'm getting up early in the morning, it just knocks me about and I can't handle it. But yeah, depends on the situation really, I think, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, if I get into conversations on Twitter and that's it then. I don't get to bed very early at all then. Okay, next question. Okay, you said you think that you'll always be a gamer, but do you see a time in the not too distant future where you start to ignore modern gaming more and more in favour of retro nostalgic systems? No, I don't actually, Alex. I think you know anyway, I love my modern gaming. I do feel like sometimes, and this I don't know if this is right or not, but I do feel like in this community there's sort of a stigma around modern gaming, and that might sound a bit weird. I do feel like sometimes that it's not okay to constantly talk about modern gaming because people are so into the retro, and I don't know, that's the feeling I've always got, is that when I want to make a video about modern stuff, like next week is E3, so I'll be posting loads of videos about E3. Because for me, I'm just a gamer. I love gaming. So it's whether it's an old system, it's the most current system, it's last generation, doesn't matter. I just enjoy all systems. So I sometimes feel as though it doesn't feel right to be talking about modern gaming, and that people may get the impression that, I don't know. I'm trying to think how to word this. I mean, I've had the feeling before where people are just so into their retro, they're not asked about modern gaming. And I feel as though, like, you know, I shouldn't be making a big deal about it. And I've never been one of them people that's like, oh, I'm getting too old for this. I don't give a shit what people think. At the end of the day, I play games, don't give a toss what anyone else thinks. You know, I've never fell out of gaming ever, and I've never ever thought, oh God, I'm in my 30s, what am I doing? I shouldn't be playing video games, because why not? What's the big deal? You know, if someone wants to play a game of football on the weekend or rugby, you know, someone wants to go and work out in the gym, or someone wants to sit on their arse watching films all weekend or listen to music, what's the difference with me playing games? You know, it's just how we relax and how we enjoy our lives. And, you know, you just take your mind off all the stresses of life and all the bullshit. So I don't ever see a problem with it. But yeah, I do sometimes feel like a bit awkward talking about modern games, and I don't feel like people are interested. I might be completely wrong there, but that's just the way I feel sometimes. I say with E3 next week, I'll be bombarding the channel with videos because of the press conferences. I like to give my opinions, and I have had some people ask me if I'm going to be doing impressions videos, which I definitely will be, because I love it. I love the modern stuff just as much as I love the retro stuff. I still get excited for new systems. I still get excited for new games. I personally love the story aspect of new games. You know, I'm not someone who'll skip cutscenes. I like to watch all the cutscenes, and to me, I think a lot of modern games as well. If you skip all the cutscenes, you're not really enjoying the game because you're treating it like an old school game just for the gameplay, and that's not how modern games are. You have to include the cutscenes. It's how they tell the story and how it evolves, and it sucks you a lot more into that world, I find. So yes, so for me personally, modern games are awesome, and I'm never going to get bored. I'm never going to get sick of them, and I'm never just going to be like, nah, screw that. The only time that's ever going to happen is when they go digital, which is probably going to be like 10 years time when they bring the new consoles out. Once they go digital, I'm out of the game. I'm not touching it. I refuse to go digital. Digital's bullshit. It's completely pointless. It serves no purpose. And I'm not getting on a major rant about it because at the end of the day, I just have no interest in digital gaming. Never have. I don't download DLC. I don't download digital games. I don't even think about it most of the time. I don't even realise they're there because I just don't care. I'm not interested. I buy a game on a disc. I play that game, put it on the shelf. And if it's a really good game, I'll play it again and again and again, like Uncharted. Yeah, and that's an old school mentality as well, because that's the retro gaming in me, I suppose. Because you know, I just play what I've got, and you know, I play it as much as I can and get my money's worth out of it. But I don't give a shit about digital at all. It's just pointless to me. It serves no purpose. It's been proven time and time again, man. They take the servers down, and you know, you have issues transferring digital content. You have issues, you know, getting those games in the future if your hard drive corrupts or your console dies on you. You know, the online gaming thing's a joke because they shut the servers down after a while, so you can't play them as well. So yeah, I don't give a shit about digital. But I mean, yeah, modern gaming, absolutely brilliant, love it. Until they go digital, I'll never give up. You know, I'm 36, right, and I still get really excited about E3. I absolutely love E3 to bits. And I'm sure I'm not the only person out there in the 30s who gets excited about E3. You know, I'm really hyped up for next week. I can't wait to see what's announced. You know, I'll be sitting there till like God knows what time in the morning on Monday, watching the Sony press conference. You know, I'll watch the Microsoft one first, then I'll watch EA and Ubisoft's press conference. Sony's is always bloody late, so it's like midnight over here usually. So last year I was up to like 4 o'clock in the morning. Then I filmed a YouTube video, so I was up to like 4:30. But I don't mind because I enjoy doing it. I love sharing my thoughts and opinions on the E3 conferences, and I love, for the people that are interested in watching that, I love getting the feedback. You are opening yourself to trolls and stuff because obviously it is modern gaming and lunatics will come over and leave comments on your videos, but whatever, you just delete and block the twats. For the most part, I don't really get trolled. I get a lot of really nice people on my channel, so I'm very grateful for that. You know, I think mainly because I don't care about trolls, I take no notice of them. So I just delete and block them because they're idiots. So there you go. So yeah, it's a long-winded answer, but yeah, I don't see myself getting out of modern gaming until it goes digital. That's the answer to it, really. So yeah, thank you, Alex. Really appreciate the questions, mate. Nice one. So okay, so the last set of questions are from Julian Hill UK. Jesus Christ, I'm getting ahead of myself. Right, so Julian has sent me a hell of a lot of questions via email. So get strapped in for this one. Right, okay, so first question is, what do you do for a living? I work in admin, so it's just office work, just general admin, nothing amazing or spectacular. Yeah, nothing exciting at all. So I'm just a guy who works in the back office, you know, doing your admin for you. Would you ever want to turn your YouTube channel into a job, or is it best as a hobby? Now that is a really interesting question, Julian, to be honest with you, mate. Being British, right, I'm going to be absolutely honest, being an Englishman, God, that's a weird term to use. I've never used that in my life. We have this sensibility in this country, I find at least. We're very reserved as British people are. I think the whole world knows that. And I do feel that as British, me personally at least, anyway, from my perspective, it can feel like you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't become a job. You shouldn't push yourself to attain that level, because you're just some bloke making videos on YouTube that people watch. And, you know, who are you to go out of your way and push yourself and promote yourself? And that's a very British thing. Whereas I look at my American counterparts, they don't give a shit. They're full on, you know, here I am, here's my YouTube channel, check out my website, check out my blog, check out, you know, my t-shirts if you want to buy them, check out the memorabilia, I've got posters, I'm going to be at this event, that event. And they really do promote themselves. They've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the other bloody sites. And they really make an effort, and I don't see any problem with it. And I actually think that more and more time I spend on YouTube, that we Brits should be like that as well. We shouldn't be afraid to promote ourselves, because at the end of the day, we're sitting here making these videos and we're doing it on a regular basis. You know, we're going out of our way to do this. We don't have to do it. We're taking time of our lives to put these videos up and, you know, to talk and communicate with people. And that's the main thing, is the communication. And obviously that's when it's difficult, because it is a hobby. It's something I enjoy doing, mainly because I can meet you guys and, you know, start a conversation. And that's the main reason I do YouTube anyway. But, you know, as the channel has grown, I have actually thought about the fact that, you know, if the possibility was ever there to take it to the next level, would I do it? And at this stage in my life, yeah, I probably would, actually. You always, in my mind, I'm always thinking, oh, well, how is that going to affect people who watch my channel? Are people going to get pissed off with me if I was to try and make it into a job? And to, like Review Tech USA, to try and, you know, this is my sole job. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make YouTube videos. I'm going to interact with the community. And, you know, I'm going to put my opinion out there and see what happens. I would love to do that. I just feel that I don't know if it would be the right thing for my channel. I always feel like it's going to piss people off and people are going to leave. Then I also think, well, what does it matter? Because the people who like me and know me personally are going to watch my channel anyway, irrespective of what I do on the channel. They're not going to just, you know, oh, he's an arsehole, he thinks he's better than what he is. They're not going to be like that, because they know me as a person. You know, so people who do feel like that, well, that's their opinion, that's fine. You know, if you don't want to watch my channel, just unsubscribe. It's no big deal, really, to me. It makes no difference. You know, I'm not a numbers guy. At the end of the day, it's nice to have the subscribers, it's fantastic. But the main thing is the audience, you know, no matter how small or large the audience, just the fact that people want to watch and are interested to see what I'm talking about and want to communicate and have a chat, that is the most important thing for me. So, yeah, I think realistically, at this point in my life, if it was to get to that stage and the opportunity was to arise to take this to the next level and make it a job, Christ knows how I'd do that. I mean, you know, if you've got any suggestions, let me know. Yeah, I'd go for that. Why not? I mean, I think all of us in the UK need to do this. We need to realise that it's not a big deal to, like, you know, have adverts on your videos which people get really pissed off and offended and judgmental and uptight about, which I don't understand that. What's the big deal? YouTube give you the option to have free adverts on your video to make a little, and I mean a very tiny amount of money from your videos. Big deal. I've had adverts on my videos for a couple of years now, I think. I've never once had anyone complain and tell me that it's wrong, because they probably know I probably would say, well, yeah, and because, you know, if you don't want to watch it, you don't want to watch it. Adverts don't bother me. I just skip them, or if I can't skip them, I'll just wait till it ends. Just go and make a cup of tea. It's no big deal. I really don't understand why people take the moral high ground with stuff like that. And, you know, yeah, I think why not? I think the people in the UK should just be okay with promoting themselves. It's no big deal. You know, if you want to flog t-shirts, flog t-shirts. You know, at the end of the day, if you want to sell merchandise, you want to promote yourself and people want to buy it, what's the big deal, really? You look at all the Americans and Canadians doing it and no one really complains. I mean, you'll get the odd person, but, you know, so what? I don't really see a big problem with that at all. There shouldn't really be a big stigma around self-promotion. You should just be able to do it. And if you want to make, you know, this a job and make proper money off it, it's bloody hard. It's not an overnight thing. It's not a simple thing to do at all. You have to really work at it and try and find your niche, which is the hardest part. But yeah, I think the short answer is yes, I would if I could. So yeah, Christ, that was a long-winded answer, wasn't it? There you go. Right, next question from Julian is, what do your real-life friends think of your collection and hobby? Not that fussed, to be honest with you, mate. They just accept it. That's just how I am. Same with family as well. It's like, yeah, you know, it's just what he does. I've never had any negativity at all. And quite honestly, if I did have time to piss off, I don't really care. Obviously not family, but I mean, well, not close family anyway, let's put it that way. Yeah, but my friends wouldn't even say anything because they're all gamers themselves, so they wouldn't care. Yeah, and they wouldn't say anything anyway because they know what I'd say back to them. It wouldn't be too polite. Next question is, do you, like me, spend more time conversing with people online than in the real world? Yeah, absolutely. I do these days. Since doing YouTube, I do a lot actually. On YouTube, Twitter, yeah, I'm always talking to people. So yeah, and it's a good thing, I think, as well. Obviously, socially, it's not the best thing in the world because you should be getting out and talking to people, which, you know, that's fine. You can do both. But I love the internet. I think it's fantastic. This ability to be able to talk to absolutely anyone, anywhere on this planet, at any time of the day, is absolutely mind-blowing to me. You know, to anyone who's been born since the internet has arrived and has only ever known the internet, it's nothing special. But to all of us guys who grew up with no internet at all, no access, you know, used to use payphones and house phones, and you never had a mobile phone or a cell phone. You never had access to the outside world. You know, all you knew was your local area. Now you've got access to the whole globe. You can talk to anyone at any time. That is absolutely phenomenal, and I do think people take that for granted sometimes, because when you really think about it, it's just absolutely insane. You know, it's like Skype. Skype is the coolest thing ever. It just blows my mind that you can not only talk to someone on the other side of the planet, you can see them as well. You can actually talk to them like you would be face to face. I think that's bloody awesome, I do. Yeah, so it's definitely a big thing, but you do need to get a balance, obviously, and talk to people outside of the internet as well. Also, just mainly for a variety of topics as well, because obviously not everybody you talk to on the internet is going to be talking about all kinds of different subjects. I'm lucky in the fact that most of the people I do talk to, I can talk to about pretty much anything anyway. But a lot of the time, obviously with the YouTube channel and everything, you're just going to be talking about gaming is the main thing. You know, what's happening in the retro community, what's happening in the modern gaming. Yeah, so yeah, there you go. Mostly online. I can't give a straight answer at all. Right, okay. Next question. Have you ever got into a celebrity-style Twitter war with anybody? No. I'm not that kind of person, to be honest with you, Julian. I think you probably know that anyway from, you know, speaking to me on here as well. I'm not someone who gets into flame wars and shit like that, because it's just dumb. That's the point. If someone insulted me, I'd tell them to off. You know, I'd tell them what I think, and I'd just block them. But I'm not going to get involved. It's the same as YouTube. I don't get involved. If someone leaves a stupid comment down below, I take no notice. I block the person, remove the comment, and that's the end of it. You know, if they come back with another account, I'll just do it again. I do not have time for getting into stupid online arguments, because what's the point? You don't win. You don't get you nowhere. All it does is frustrate you, and just, you know, it just winds you up. And quite frankly, I have no interest in that bullshit at all, because life's too bloody short to be arguing with dickheads on the internet. So, next question: do you dabble in podcasts? If so, which ones? Do you mean like making them or watching them? If you mean watching them, yeah, I'll watch several. Obviously, I watch AMC Movie Talk from daily movie news updates, which is absolutely brilliant. I recently started watching the Game Over Greggy show with Greg Miller from IGN, which is absolutely brilliant. I definitely recommend watching that. It's so funny. It's really great. It's basically four friends around a table, and they all bring a topic to the table, and they throw it out there to be discussed, and it's just really, really funny. And I've also started watching Podcast Beyond as well, the IGN PlayStation podcast, which is absolutely brilliant as well. So yeah, so I'm starting to spread out a little bit and try a few different things. If you're asking about if I'd ever do a podcast, then yeah, I would love to do that. That would be something I'd be interested in. So yeah, you never know. Wait and see. Next question. Do you spend more time reading, buying, and YouTubing about games than actually playing them? That is a really good question. Probably, yeah, I do. I would say I probably do actually. Watch more YouTube videos, read articles online, than actually going out and buying the games and playing them. And yeah, and obviously buying them as well, as you say. All this stuff, you know, you can get into a habit of just buying the shit, going, oh, that's nice, stick it on the shelf. You know, or tested it for 5 minutes, then stick it on the shelf. But I do try and play as much as I can. The modern stuff, yeah, if I buy a modern game, I'll play it all the way through, and then it goes on the shelf. The retro stuff, I tend to dabble every now and again, whenever I feel the need. And obviously, I've always said before, it's a library, so there's never a necessity to play it there and then. I don't think I can just play it when I want, because I've got years to go yet. I can just spend all my money, buy all my games, and then spend the next 20-30 years just sitting there playing them all. That's the way I look at it. But yeah, I definitely spend more time reading online, buying the games, watching YouTube videos, and I really shouldn't, but yeah. Next question. If you were forced to play a JRPG, which one would you go for? I ain't got a clue, mate. I've got no idea. I know jack shit about JRPGs. I know there was that was it Xeno Saga or some bloody thing? That one that was in that Operation Rainfall for the Wii. Was it Xeno? Not Xeno. Was it Xenoblade? I can't remember. I don't know anything about RPGs. So yeah, I wouldn't have a clue. It'd have to be like, I think they're called action RPGs. I think they're the ones that are probably the easiest to get into. So I'd probably go for something like that. I don't want nothing too complicated. If I'm right, is the Final Fantasy, is that what do you call it? Turn-based. I think that's what that's called. I don't like that at all. That's just ridiculous to me. I don't see the point in playing that. So yeah, I want something that's simple that I can get into. Okay. Other than the fantastic blog boxpixels.co.uk, where Julian has a blog, by the way, so I'll post a link down there for that. Which websites do you enjoy? I don't anymore, actually. I used to always get my gaming news and everything. I used to watch game trailers. I used to go there all the time. But game trailers have gone terrible. All the good people have left, and they've got all these new people come in, and the website's a mess. They don't know what they're doing. They're just making a right cock up of it. So at the moment, I haven't really got anywhere to go. I know Retro Gamer Mickey, he told me about the Metro News. Their one's really good, and I've been reading a fair bit of that lately. That's pretty decent. Yeah, I don't really tend to use websites anymore because there aren't any to use. I can't find any good ones, so I tend to like Google for the latest information, and then just randomly pick pages like Kotaku or Gaming Informer or whatever comes up randomly and just read an article. Yeah, it's a shame really. There isn't anywhere I can really think of. If you know anywhere, suggest some. Yeah, let me know. Birdo, boy or girl? I don't know. I assume girl. I'm not sure, to be honest. Poison, boy or girl? Transvestite, I think. Or yeah, I think she's transvestite, not transsexual or transgender, whatever the correct term is now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a bloke in a dress. I'm not entirely certain. Right, Lara Croft, Cammy, Princess Peach. Which one would you? You know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Cammy, definitely. It's all about the ass. Right. Which game in your collection have you been most pleasantly surprised by? That's a tough one. Oh God, let me see. Yeah, actually, that Mario Mallard game, Cold Shadow with Donald Duck. I didn't know anything about that when I got it, and that was a really, really good game. I looked at some gameplay, it looked decent, but I thought I'd give it a try. That is a really fun game, and beautiful graphics, and nice ideas as well, where you can use like the bow staff to climb up walls, and you get different outfits. It's a brilliant game. Yeah, I'd say that one. That was a really nice surprise, that one. Next question, which game in your collection have you been most disappointed by? Probably Spawn, actually, in recent times anyway. Yeah, I thought that looked really good, and it was actually pretty shit. It was a very slow, boring, scrolling beat 'em up, and definitely not as enjoyable as I expected, unfortunately. Next one. Have you ever drunkenly bought something on eBay that you forgot about until you check your phone next day, and was it a good purchase? I probably have. Nothing springs to mind at the moment, but yeah, more than likely, back in the day when I used to drink quite a lot, so I don't really drink nowadays, but back when I used to drink, yeah, I used to go on eBay quite a lot late at night. I'd come home from the club, go on eBay and have a look what's been listed, and randomly buy shit, and then next morning you wake up and you're like, shit, what have I done? So yeah, there were times, I just can't think of anything in particular, but drink and eBay is a dangerous combination. What tips would you have for aspiring, specifically Super Nintendo collectors? Take your time is the main thing. Yeah, I think you do anyway, Julian. But don't rush, because unless you've got loads of money, then you can do what you want. But if you haven't got loads of money, just take your time, and just wait is the big deal. I find, especially with Super Nintendo stuff. Obviously, I collect American, so I can only talk about that. But I would definitely say play the long game. Don't rush in, because a lot of the time you'll see a lot of idiots listing games that are quite difficult to get hold of for extraordinarily high prices, crazy prices, and they're not worth it at all. And I find that if you just wait a little, eventually somebody will list it for the right price. I'm just trying to think. A good example was Knights of the Round. That game used to be $80 all the time, and then in the last year or so it's been going up to 150. And I was like, I'm not paying 150. It's not worth 150. And then at Christmas time, someone listed it for 100 in really good condition. So I bought it. I was like, I don't mind paying an extra $20. That's not so bad. So patience is absolutely the key important thing with Super Nintendo, especially when you're somebody who buys box games and you care about condition, you know. So yeah, that's what I'd say anyway. Next question. Right. Okay, next question is, do you think we have ever bid against each other on eBay? I don't know what your name is on eBay, so it's a good possibility. I know I've bid against other people before, like J7 and Retro Rich. So I've got bidding wars with them two before, but I can't match them two because they've got more money than me. So yeah, it's a good possibility, you never know. I don't bid on auctions that often though. I am more of a buy now person nowadays. But yeah, it's always a possibility, Julian. Next question. Do you know I have Super Mario RPG mint and shrink wraps? I didn't actually, mate. That's pretty damn sweet. I don't know how you managed to get it sealed. Bloody hell. That must have cost you a few quid. That is, I like that, you know, just put not a question, just a boast. Do you think there is any point hunting for a box Super Nintendo game at boot fairs or on Gumtree? Or are the sellers asking too much for them? It depends. I mean, you never know. You might get lucky. I've never seen any myself. I mean, I've seen loose Kart games at car boots, but they're always in shit condition because they're left out in the sun. It gets really hot down here sometimes, and they get sun bleached. But and also, as you say, money wise, I think if you do, oh no, actually, tell a lie. The other week, there's a trader at my local car boot, and he owns a shop somewhere around here. I can't, somewhere in the southwest anyway. And he had some boxed PAL SNES games, but he wanted proper prices for them because he knew what they were worth. They weren't in the best of condition, but he was well aware of eBay pricing, which he's on most of the stuff he sells. So that's the problem. I think if you get box stuff, unless you get exceptionally lucky and you find someone who hasn't got a clue and is just clearing the loft out, brilliant. Same with Gumtree as well. So you might do. I mean, it's always worth looking because you just don't know. Because, you know, if you don't look, you don't find. You know, like old Tootie says, you know, if you don't go, you don't know. So, all right, next one. What are your thoughts on the Retron 5? A retro collector's dream or a pointless emulator? I don't know, to be honest with you, mate. I actually think it's a really good device. Being a proper hardcore retro collector, like in terms of like, I only use CRT TVs for my old games. I won't play them on modern TVs because they look terrible. I actually think it's actually a pretty good idea because you don't have to keep going to the game room. You can just, if you just can't be arsed and you just want to play on the normal TV, it's got the HDMI thing, and as far as I'm aware, you can put like a fake scan line setting on there. You can upscale it to 720. I don't know if it does 1080 or not, I can't remember. And it plays so many different consoles and handhelds. It's actually a really cool device, and I think when I checked it was like 90 or 100 quid, so it's not cheap at all. But it's definitely a good idea, and I think if you're not someone who has the ability or just doesn't want to have a game room and doesn't care about playing on CRT TVs and doesn't want them sitting around the house, and wants to get into retro gaming but doesn't want to get into the whole collecting side and having the consoles and all that, it's a brilliant alternative, I think. If it works as well as it's supposed to, I mean, all of these Retron and family clone devices and things, they're always a bit iffy because they're never 100% compatibility. But it does look like a really cool alternative, so yeah, I'll never dismiss it. Next one, okay. Okay, the phrase "doing a SNES-tastic" is often used in comments when someone sells things in bulk. Do you have any big selling regrets? Several. Yeah, my Super Famicom collection when I first started collecting, I sold that. I must have done that about 3 times, bought the collection, sold it, and then built it and sold it. And yeah, the biggest one, my biggest regret ever, and I've sold a lot of stuff, my biggest regret is my Jaguar. Back in the day, in the early 2000s, well, probably around the mid 2000s actually, about 2004, 2005 probably. I don't really remember exactly when. But there was a guy on eBay who had like those big box crates with the proper Atari Jaguar logo on the side, like you see with the Super Nintendo games when they have sealed, like 6 sealed games in a box. And he had consoles. He had a sealed Jaguar console and a sealed Jaguar CD. And he was knocking them out for 150 quid for the two. And he had loads of them. And I bought both for the 150 quid. And I eventually sold them. That was a stupid thing to do. I really regret that big time. I know the Atari Jaguar is not the greatest console in the world, but I kind of like it. And you know, it definitely held its price over the years, and especially the CD unit. To have a CD unit in the box mint, because it weren't sealed. I did open them up and play on them. But yeah, I definitely regret that one. Okay. Next question. Do you think Alex Blue Tonic spins boxes and looks at their sides in the supermarket before putting them in the trolley? Yeah, probably does. Alex, let us know. Do you do that? Do you get your cereal box and spin it round? That's a brilliant question, that is, mate. And finally, if you had the chance to finish your collection in one big go for $100, would you? Or is part of the fun hunting for the games? Part of the fun is hunting for the games, but it can also become a bit of a chore, and it can kind of piss you off after a while. I kind of get a little burnt out by it. So if I could just buy all the games I need for $100, yeah, I would. You know, if the market was to bottom out tomorrow, and all the prices just went down, and no one was buying anything, and they started selling games for like $5 a pop, I would just jump on it. I'd be like, yeah, bang them in there, because it's not about the money either. And it's nice to have the hunt and to try and find things. It's great, but because I don't hunt in the wild, I'm only hunting on eBay. It isn't really as fun. If you're hunting in the wild, that is awesome, because when you come across an absolutely amazing, rare title, that is something to get excited about. You find it on eBay, it's like, oh yeah, someone's listed it. It's not as exciting really. So yeah, if the price would come down, brilliant, because the value of it doesn't matter to me. It's all about the games, and it's all about the Super Nintendo collection, and having that library of games to play and enjoy whenever I want to. It's not about the value, because I don't want to, and I don't intend to sell that collection at all. I've done really well to build it up as much as I have, and I've never had the thought of selling it. So yeah. So thank you very much, Julian. That was a lot of questions, but really good questions as well. So really nice of you, mate. Okay, so there we go. Right. So that's all the questions for this week, guys, for episode 4. I don't know how long this has been. We'll wait and see. It's going to be a long one. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos from me, just hit subscribe. That'll keep you up to date with all my new videos. Yeah, and obviously if you have any questions for next week's episode, post them down below in the comments. Every Friday I'll post a new response. So thank you very much for watching this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all again soon.